Lawn bowling is more than just a game. There's no talking on the green.
Genuine 1972 prices.
There's nothing this soft. Just stick it right up and right up.
Welcome to Without Bias. Brought to you by Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. Apia, dedicated specialists ready to help. Call 13 50 50. Apia, get set, go. Local legends wanted. A bowls green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me.
Oh, how good to have Without Bias back for another year, our dedicated show to the wonderful world of lawn bowls. Coming up in the next segment, we'll speak to new Jackaroos coach of the Australian national team, Gary Willis, who took over from Steve Glasson. Some big shoes to fill. Can't wait to catch up with Gary and see how he's just getting his feet under the desk in the new role. Just quickly, A-League 2-1 MacArthur FC over Melbourne Victory, and in the NRL 20-0. Melbourne Storm over the Rabbitohs. 0433 98 11 16, the temper text, and 1300 736 736 if you'd like to contribute to Without Bias. But we'd like to go straight to the top on our very first show, and so we will do exactly that. Neil Dalrymple, as the CEO of Bowls Australia, has been good enough to jump on the line with us. Great to have you as part of the first show, Neil. Thank you for your time. How are you?
Thanks, Sam, and great to be with you.
Well, what an exciting time for bowls. There's been such a long layoff, as we know. Competition now back flowing. Talk to me about the emotion that you would have been experiencing when bowls made its return, the Bowls Premier League in Moama in Feb. It was a wonderful occasion. It was a fantastic tournament. You must have just been over the moon. Yeah,
look, it was very exciting and probably a touch of emotion too, and look, all the players, the volunteers, all the people at Moama Bowling Club in terms of being such a great host. I think everyone was so pleased, as you say, to be back out on the green and really in back into competition, and seeing a broadcast event back on television is so important for us as a sport, and and then followed up with the BPL 13 just recently at Club Pine Rivers too. So quite a lot of momentum going into 2021, Sam. So it's been a good start to the year.
Now, you mentioned Pine Rivers a couple of weeks ago, another BPL event, the Tweedhead Ospreys winning their second straight. What did you make of that competition? What was the atmosphere like, and how have you found the response from fans getting back into bowls?
Yeah, I think we noticed a bit of a crescendo as the week went on, and historically it's always difficult to get a lot of people out there on a Tuesday night. But as the week went on, finished really strongly Thursday, Friday night. There, the crowd gets into it. Obviously develops. It's a great cauldron of a venue. So people start to make noise, and it really. I know the players they feed off that, and I think it shows in their performance. And once again, we were really pleased with the quality of play and just the crowd interaction. So it was a great week, Sam.
What's been the flow-on effect back through the bowls community to have these events back on live broadcast?
Yep.
All the colour, all the excitement. Have you seen that it's had a trickle down?
Yeah, look, it's good. There's obviously strong interaction. We monitor the social media side of things, and then we just get in, feedback from just the general punters out there and the bowlers out there. And I think, look, all bowlers love watching bowls, but I think, particularly with the BPL, we want new bowlers as well. And likewise, we see a bit of feedback on our social media accounts and talking to people saying, yeah, look, isn't that fantastic? All the colour, the age of the participants, and it's just a really good promotion for the sport.
Speaking to Bowls Australia CEO Neil Dalrymple, we do it all for Bowls Australia. Local legends wanted, search bowls clubs near me. And for Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. So, Neil, Australian Open, it's coming up in June, the event we missed last year in 2020, one of many. How excited is the bowling fraternity for the return of the biggest annual event on the calendar?
Yeah. Look, I think we all, some of us who live in Melbourne are always very keen to get up to the Gold Coast in June, that's for sure. And I think plenty of other bowlers across the country, and certainly a few in New Zealand as well, have entered for this year's Australian Open in June. And look, to be honest, Sam, we couldn't be much more pleased with the response in terms of the number of participants, the number of entries. I mean, it's numbers that we probably didn't expect. So, which really means that this is a really quality event, quality greens, great location. So, the numbers are well over 2,300 in terms of entries, and that's pretty similar to our best year of 2019, which, of course, we don't have not many overseas participants this year. So, that's where we're a few numbers down, but all in all, I couldn't be happier.
I reckon last time you and I spoke, Neil, we spoke about the change in the high-performance structure that you'd gone through. You've got a new coach in Gary Willis, a new assistant coach in Karen Murphy. Yep. We're going to be speaking to Gary in the next segment, but how have you seen that transition and how have you seen that progression?
Well, big shoes to fill, Sam,
Absolutely.
in terms of Gary, that's for sure. And Steve Glasson is an icon of the sport, and 10 years in the role as national coach, it's gone quickly, and he's got some great runs on the board. Huge success at World Championships, at Commonwealth Games. So I don't think Gary he sees that this is a huge position, and as I say, huge shoes to fill. But look, I couldn't be more impressed with the way he started. He's super enthusiastic. He's got Karen Murphy by his side now as an assistant. I mean, a player who's played over 600 games for Australia, and just her experience is going to be invaluable for the Australian Jackaroos program. So I'm pretty confident that the sport's in good hands. The Australian team's in really good hands with Gary and Karen and the broader high-performance team.
You must be really proud of the work of the Bowls Australia Disaster Relief Fund, Neil, where it's been able to lend a hand, where it's been able to assist those in need, especially in recent times.
Yeah, no, and as you know, Sam, there's always, unfortunately, natural disasters that are occurring across the country, and that was the reason we put this fund together. I think it was way back in 2011, I think it might have been, when there were floods in Brisbane, and a lot of bowls clubs literally were washed away. And of course, since then we've had floods, we've had more floods, we've had fires, and cyclones and the like that have just kind of come through. Big storms in WA recently, which have hit bowls clubs. And I know that we've got a couple of applications coming from some clubs in WA very soon to help them get them back on their feet. So, look, I am very proud of it, and it's such an important, I suppose, a small sign of our support from a national body to help clubs get back on their feet and continue to provide the great services that they do to the community.
Neil Dalrymple, Bowls Australia CEO, with us on Without Bias for APIA, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 135050, APIA, get set, go. Now, this is one that, again, you and I have discussed this before.
Yep.
We're still trying to, it's always a head scratcher for people trying to figure out, and we know the technicalities of it. Why is lawn bowls not an Olympic sport when you look at the participation all around the world? You've put forward a case for bowls to enter the Olympics. The 2032 bid in Brisbane is pivotal to this. If it's selected as the host city, then you're asking, and you've already put the application in for bowls to be part of that Olympic Games. How important would it be for the sport? How big would it be for lawn bowls to finally have it as an Olympic sport?
Yeah, I like your enthusiasm, Sam. It's you should help me with the PR.
Anytime.
No, look,
I'll probably do more harm than good, though, Neil, to be honest, but more than happy to help.
I like what you said, but it is. Look, you can't underestimate the power of the Olympic brand, and look, it's not just for Australia. I think it's actually globally what it would do for the sport if we were to get in 2032. And I think the opportunity is there because if Brisbane, as you say, Brisbane gets named as the host, then they can influence the number, the types of sports that are on the program. And I think iconic sports like netball, cricket, bowls, squash, part of the Australian fabric would be good choices. Obviously, I'll be pushing hard for bowls to get in. I mean, globally, it would be huge in terms of the financial opportunities it would open up commercially, but both also from government funding perspective. So, and it's not all about the money. I think it's about that brand of the Olympics and bowls being part of it, and just showcasing what we could do on the world stage. And of course, we've got a venue on the Gold Coast which we used in 2018 that's ready to go. So it would be a great opportunity.
It certainly would be. And look, it's been a long time coming, so fingers crossed that there's light at the end of that tunnel. It's just been ignored for far too long, Neil, to be honest. So hopefully, and you're fighting the good fight, hopefully we get the result that we want. Hey, before we let you go, last week you unveiled Bowls Australia's environmental sustainability Talk to us a little bit about this and what the organisation's hoping to achieve.
Sure. It's a strategy we put together, Sam, and as you say, we launched it at the City of Melbourne Bowling Club last week. And it's a set of guidelines really for clubs and also for us as a national body and our state associations about how we can contribute to the environment and, I suppose, implement more sustainable practices across the board. I mean, many clubs do great things already, whether it's solar, whether it's composting machines, whether it's harvesting water. Your recycling, obviously, is a big area. So I think what we're trying to do is say, look, here's a sport, bowls, a prominent sport in the country, and this is what we can do to contribute to a better planet. It sounds a bit corny, but it's really something that we have within our power to do. And I know that, as I say, a lot of clubs do a lot of good work already, and it's just really encouraging more clubs, more people within the clubs to undertake these practices and create better clubs for the future, but also make a contribution to the overall sustainability of our sport and our planet.
Neil, always an absolute pleasure. Thank you for kicking off this season of Without Bias in the style that it deserves, going straight to the top. We really appreciate it. You're doing a cracking job. Australian Open coming up. It's a massive event, $250,000 in prize money, 14 days of action. Cannot wait for that up on the Gold Coast. Thanks again.
Thanks, Sam, and it's great to have Without Bias back on the radio, and thanks for all your efforts as the host.
It's an absolute pleasure. Hey, we've gone from the CEO. We'll go next to the national coach, Gary Willis, to join us next on Without Bias. Local legends wanted, by the way. A bowls green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me, and all thanks to Apia, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 135050 Apia. Get set, go. You're listening to Without Bias, part of the Sporting Capital on SEN.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias. Brought to you by Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. Local legends wanted. A bowls green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me.
Welcome back to Without Bias, part of the Sporting Capital on a Thursday night, 65-45 with 10.5 minutes played in the third quarter. Geelong over the Northern Bull Ants. And the Fox, Josh Adokar, has a taste for rabbit tonight. He's got 4 tries. Jerome Hughes has got the 5th. 26-0 at half-time. Storm over the Rabbitohs. Macarthur FC 2-1 over the Melbourne Victory as well. We had Neil Dalrymple on, Bowls Australia CEO, a few moments ago. That's all thanks to Apia, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 135050 Apia. Get set, go. And we continue to work just at the top of the Bowls Australia tree. The new coach of the Jackaroos took over, big shoes to fill from the former coach Steve Glasson. Is Gary Willis, has been good enough to jump on the line with us, and I believe we've found you at the airport, Gary.
You have, Sam. Yes, I'm just about to jump on a flight, mate. So if you hear anything in the background, that's what's going on. So sorry about that.
I really appreciate it. We've gone straight to the top for our first episode back. We had Neil on earlier, who was just singing your praises, the job that you've done since you've taken over as national coach for Steve Glasson. He was just had nothing but good things to say. How have you found the role since you took over?
Oh, that's great to hear, actually. And yeah, it's obviously been very busy and a steep learning curve for me. But I've also had a lot of great support around me with our HP staff. And, we've got a very small team and we've managed to push out a lot of work in the last sort of 6 weeks. And Neil and obviously the board have been very supportive of sort of made connections with Com Games Australia and Australian Institute of Sport, all our main stakeholders, and made really good connections. So I'm just sort of thrown back by how accepting all those people and helpful they've been. So really blessed, mate.
Have you had a chance to make contact with most of the Jackaroo players and aspiring Jackaroo players since you took over?
Yeah, we have. So I've caught up with a lot of the main squad first and foremost. We had a good catch-up at BPL, so that was a great opportunity for us to meet face-to-face for the first time for many of us in quite a while. So it was a great opportunity, and just to sort of thrash out, where they're at and what their expectations are, where we can improve and get better as a program and as individuals. So that's been really beneficial. Obviously, moving forward, we've got a reactivation camp in July, which will sort of kickstart our program once again with a clean slate and some new ideas and innovations included. It'll also see the first trial for our Birmingham campaign. Birmingham, obviously, Com Games 2022. So we've got about 6 or 7 trials in the lead up to that event to pick our squad to head over to the UK, hopefully, in mid-22.
So when you've had those chats, you've been really happy with how you've been received so far from the players and the feedback that you've been getting. How have you experienced those initial early chats?
Yeah, it's been really good, mate. And our development players, our pathway group, emerging Jackaroos, we've got a lot of great pathways coaches in our system now that work state by state. So the communication from them has been really good. There's exciting aspects of the program happening. Jackaroos have been, really accepting. I've been with them for close to 10 years now, a lot of those players for around 10 years. So we know each other. You're sort of in that environment, you're living together when you're away on tour. So we know each other really, really well, sometimes too well, I think. So it's a great relationship that I'm lucky enough to have, and we'll build on that as time goes by, I'm sure. Speaking
to Gary Willis, our Jackaroos coach of our national team on Without Bias, all for Bowls Australia, local legends wanted, search bowls clubs near me. Now, a legendary moment we do every week, but considering it's our first show back, why don't we nominate you were having Karen Murphy as your national assistant coach as a legendary moment. Local legends wanted, a bowls green is just up the road, search bowls clubs near me. Karen is a legend in every sense of the word in lawn bowls. How's the dynamic been between the two of you, and what's she been bringing to the table and to the position?
Oh, mate, it's been absolutely fantastic. It was a wonderful appointment by the BA board and Neil and everyone concerned. So, just her experience and knowledge around the game. We've known each other personally for close to 35 years. We came through the junior system together, so we know each other and families really well. And it's great to have her as a backup and support, and she'll lead a lot of stuff as well. Obviously the players are going to draw on her experience and knowledge now out of that playing group. She's moved out of that playing group, but she's still close enough to sort of talk to us from a program development perspective as a player as well. So that information's so valuable, and we've had staff meetings this week in Melbourne, and just to get her knowledge, share the knowledge at that table has been fantastic.
You've been in Melbourne this week, Gary, catching up with the high-performance team. Must be nice to have face-to-face meetings with people again following a pretty isolated and non-existent 2020 for lawn bowls.
Zoom's been great, Sam, but we're over it. We're absolutely over it. So it has been hard, and you can't beat that face-to-face interaction, bouncing off each other, those ideas, and just working on plans and structures moving forward to what the program looks like for the future.
What have you made of the return of bowls in the BPL form at BPL 12 in Moama? We've had a couple of BPL events which have been fantastic. How have you experienced those from your point of view?
Yeah, I've just been so happy for the players just to see them back together, doing what they do best. That's being on show and just showing their skill and everything they've worked at to get to that level. It's been fabulous, and it's been a great showpiece for our sport.
Nationals are coming up on the Gold Coast in June, 12th to the 25th. What role do you play in the Australian Open, Gary?
Yeah, we sort of will obviously attend from an Australian selection perspective. Not only have we got a Birmingham campaign where we'll pick teams for next year, or in the process of picking teams for next year, the Australian Open sort of signals the start also of our World Championship campaign, which is 2023. So results and events or results at those events are so important. So we'll be keeping a close eye on everyone, and obviously working with them through that process to ensure they can achieve their goals and successes.
Let's get a bit of a player update for Right at Home aged care at home, Australia's leading provider of home care and disability support. There's an article that's just been released revealing that 3 blokes will be fighting it out for the final spot on the Jackaroos squad. Tell us a little bit about Cody Packer, Jay by Norris, and Matt Lucas.
Yeah, mate, I'm absolutely wrapped for these guys. I just think it's such a wonderful opportunity. They'll go head-to-head within the Jackaroos Open squad, so that will become a 12-man squad for our first 2 trials, which will be in July and September. Those 3 guys in particular have come through our Pathways program, so their Pathways coaches have done a wonderful job with them, bringing them through and getting into that squad, giving them an opportunity to perform on the highest stage and the potential to get, that coveted Australian cap. So one of those 3 guys will move forward. They'll move into the main 10, and then they'll go through the trial process for Birmingham. So it's a wonderful opportunity for those guys and testament to the work they've put in and they continue to put into the program. So really wrapped for them.
That player update for Right at Home. Right at Home, the best quality in disability support, aged and nursing care at home. Speaking to Gary Willis on Without Bias, our national coach for APIA, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 13 50 50, APIA, get, set, go. Hey, Gary, Commonwealth Games, a little over a year away. What are you going to be looking for in your players as to who you're going to be taking and what you're looking for in terms of selection, contenders? There's a lot to take into consideration there. Just give us a little insight into your process and what is going to be important for you in picking that team.
Yeah, I think it's a big one. Obviously, Northern Hemisphere has always been tough for us. It's a big change, a big transition from surface type. Obviously, the international travel and all of the worries and concerns around that in the current environment is big. So there's a lot of preparation, a lot of thought, a lot of planning that needs to go into this, not only, on the green, but also off the green. So what we're looking for now is a home base, a venue that we're going to train or simulate a grass that's going to run a similar pace to what the UK conditions will be like. And that's where all our trials will take place through this process. We'll also look at, a couple of international events, hopefully, COVID pending, that allow us to play against the international countries and just experience a different style of play. So it's a more aggressive, more attacking style of play, which is what we're used to. So, they'll be out of their comfort zone a little bit, which will be good. And, we'll just be looking for the people that embrace the program, that are well prepared, that are well planned, and that obviously play really well at trials too. So, there's a lot that goes into it, Sam, for sure.
I'm sure there is. And we just had Neil on before, the CEO of Bowls Australia, Neil Dalrymple. We spoke about that they have put forward their case for bowls to enter the Olympics in 2032 if Brisbane was selected as the host city. What does that do to you when you hear those words about the potential of lawn bowls finally being at the Olympics?
Well, it's such an exciting prospect, isn't it? I think that what we have to do now is be ready. We have to have a program in place that's of an Olympic standard. We have to have athletes in place that potentially be full-time and they have to be ready for that next level as well themselves. So it certainly has me sparked up and interested to get our program to that level, and we've certainly got it in the back of our mind moving forward.
Gary, I know you've got a flight to catch, so I'll let you go. Big thank you for coming on. It just wouldn't have been right to not get you on the first show of this series of Without Bias. We really appreciate it. Good luck with what's to come. Enjoy the Australian Open. I'm sure it's going to be a great opportunity for you to get in and amongst that big group of players who are vying for those high honours at the Australian Open, June 12th to the 25th. Mate, thank you very much and enjoy.
Oh, thanks for having me, Sam. Much appreciated and great to catch up again.
Gary Willis on Without Bias. Local legends wanted. Search bowls clubs near me. Bowls Green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me. That's it. Our first episode back of Without Bias for this year. We'll be back same time, same place next week. And we do it all for APIA, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 13 50 50. APIA, get, set, go.